Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Cyber Pro, brought to you by Beryllium InfoSec Collaborative. Now, focus on that last word, collaborative. As a collaborative, Beryllium works with many partners, and as such, we're happy to be joined today by the one and only Misha Smith of Interpro IQ, part of the collaborative. You work very closely with the folks at Beryllium.
Yes, sir.
For better or worse.
Sometimes better, sometimes worse.
I can understand that. We'll talk about that off camera. You've seen the first couple we did was called Ask the Cyber Guy with Ben Brooks.
Yep.
And now we've changed into Ask the Cyber Pro because we've obviously upgraded.
Right.
And you're not only ready for this, but you brought a little something to the party. You've changed the game a little bit.
I changed the game. I did. So we're going to be playing a little game called Fact or Fiction. So Tim's going to be asking me some questions that were brought in, asked over both the Beryllium side, Interpro side. So we'll see as many as we can get through, but we're really excited. I don't know what the questions are, but I have these lovely paddles that are going to say fact or fiction.
We call those visual aids.
Visual aids. Yes, exactly. So
Very nice.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Very crafty.
Very crafty.
So crafty.
So if you're confused at home, we'll give you the visual aid as to whether it's actually fact or fiction. Some of these questions gleaned from the internet, so you know that there's truth all over the place.
That's right.
So we've got really cool stuff here. Ask the Cyber Pro. There's another visual aid with little removable, stickable, and Misha did all this.
I didn't even know, that was the sticky thing was a thing, but I had to research it.
It's a thing.
Repositionable
it's really cool.
adhesive.
So are you ready?
I gotta be.
The first question for Ask the Cyber Pro, Misha Smith. People are the weakest link when it comes to information security, the security chain. Fact or fiction, are people the weakest link?
I feel like all of these are going to be hard, like loaded questions.
Well, if I had something to do with it, they are.
Okay, I'm in it for, people are the greatest. Weakness?
I'm a guy who skews towards negative.
Sure, you're the glass half empty, right?
Well, yeah. And no, the glass is actually on the floor. The shards of glass all over the place.
Okay.
And I'm not wearing shoes.
So people are the greatest weakness.
In the security chain.
Okay. I'm going to say fact, and I do feel kind of bad about this, but it is technically true. They absolutely are the greatest risk. However, we don't want to, imply such a negative term to people because we all work at organizations, for organizations, and what do we all have in common? There are people there. And so when we start having this perception and this culture that says that we are the greatest weakness, doesn't really implore, people to throw on a cape and do anything to be better about it, So instead, we would, yes, it's true, but we really want to say that they are, our strongest first line of defense.
Potentially the greatest strength.
Absolutely. And so shifting that, that verbiage alone really makes employees feel empowered that, oh my gosh, I'm the first line and the last line of defense. Like, I better do something about this. And it just makes them feel like they make a difference, which they absolutely do.
It's vital. People, you're working for a company.
Yeah.
You get this training. You need to pay attention and carry out those best practices because you're important.
Your company's, future could depend on it. One click is all it takes.
Don't be the weakest link. According to Misha, flip that.
Right.
Turn it into a strength.
Yeah.
Well done.
One down,
Cyber Pro. But you know what? Here comes number 2.
Okay.
Is you keeping score at home? Number 2.
Oh my gosh, I get scored. Great.
Changing my password frequently is enough to secure my information. We are all reminded, pestered, hounded to change your password.
Right.
It's a good step. Is it enough?
Okay, I'm going to say fiction. It is not enough.
You want more.
I want more. I demand more.
Okay.
So, okay.
What is the additional layer?
Let me explain
Please.
Before, a riot happens. So I'm saying fiction because, changing your password frequently isn't enough when your password is spring 2019 !
How did you nail my password?
Oh my goodness. people at home, if on
not
Thursday
that
you're
creative.
changing it to summer of 2019, actually, it is not enough. So changing it frequently is not enough because we want to, it may used to have been a best practice. Now we're really shifting and seeing that a longer password, a more complex password is really the way to go, as well as unique passwords. So when I say unique, I mean different to every website. So no matter how many, fast food rewards members, memberships we all have, all of those online logins should all be unique passwords to that. And there's all kinds of ways to remember these passwords. We say long, complex, and so by that we also mean it doesn't have to be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious in French, whatever that might be. But it can be memorable, and Beryllium does a really good job of that. They outline all kinds of different, Indiana Jones algorithms and codes so that it gives you a pattern for you to remember.
To make it easier, because I'm guessing, if I may speak for those of you out there, the average person.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't want to do it.
No.
2, we can't remember once we change them.
Right.
But one thing in conversation off air, you've told me in the past is the length of the password is critical because it really comes down to numbers.
That's right. Yep. The longer, just think of it like, a cipher. The longer it is, the harder it is to crack. And so same goes from a hacker standpoint. Just think, from in their shoes, they're looking for an easy target. So if you have a long, complex password that's different across every website that you log into across the internet, they're going to move on to the next person.
So take pride in that step. Don't try to avoid it. But know that you're frustrating someone else and sending them to an easier target.
Right.
Well done. Well played. Number 3, ask the Cyber Pro. The more legitimate an email looks, the less likely it is to be a phishing email. So say I get an email and it's got like the seal of the state of Minnesota on it.
Sure.
Maybe even has a picture of Governor Walz. And maybe even has a proclamation on it. And I'm thinking, this is the greatest thing ever. It must be official.
Maybe a copyright at the bottom too.
Or maybe it's a summons to go to court. And I'm thinking it looks legitimate, but it might not be.
That's right. So it's fiction. Gone are the days of the Nigerian prince emails with 100 spelling errors, and it was so obvious. And I should say that lightly, because there are absolutely still Nigerian prince emails going around, and if they're going around, people are still clicking on them. So spread the good word that nobody is related to a Nigerian prince. But I guess to that point, of the credible email, it looks legit.
It's got the seal. It's got to be good.
Right. So don't be fooled. Just because an email might look like it's from a credible source, even if the from address looks legitimate, all it takes is just one keystroke to be different. I've seen actually I believe it's the Russian alphabet, it looks like an O, but it's not an O. And so just, by saying, whatever ABC company name, that O might actually be, a character or a symbol from another language. And you don't spot it right away because it looks legitimate.
It looks legit.
Right. So certainly, don't believe that the more legitimate an email looks, that means it is legitimate. You still want to be doing the best practices, hovering over links before you click on them. And if it's from somebody that you don't recognize, just assume that it's a phishing email.
Practice good cyber hygiene.
That's right. Don't stink. Nobody likes a stinky cyber hygiene person.
You don't want to be that person.
Don't be that guy either.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Number 4, ask the Cyber Pro. All hackers use sophisticated and advanced technologies to steal data. Now, the all is always kind of a tip-off.
Right.
It's like they're in a club where there's rules.
Right,
and I don't think
right.
that there are.
Yeah.
So all hackers use sophisticated and advanced technologies. I think it would probably help to use sophisticated and advanced technologies.
Right.
But crude technologies can still get the job done?
Absolutely. So that is going to be a fiction.
Fiction.
Ethical hackers, specifically when they're hired by businesses to try to, crack their networks or, penetrate the organization through physical security, they are intentionally using the cheap, the free, the easiest tools possible in order to hack you. And that is simply because they're trying to prove how easy it really can be. It doesn't take a lot of money, time, or training to be a hacker.
And many of the intentional ones we'll do this just to show you.
Exactly.
Not that much.
Not that hard. Exactly.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
All right. If you're keeping score at home, we've just gone on 4 questions with Ask the Cyber Pro. How are you doing?
4 down.
Do you need a water break? Do you need a commercial? Something like that.
Deodorant rehab? No, I'm good. I'm good.
You're handling
I
the
don't
hot
wanna be
seat
this
like the
smelly
Cyber
guy.
Pro you are. Number 5. Hackers can gain access to my devices at home, such as webcams, baby monitors, security cameras. Alexa,
Hey, Google.
play me some Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yeah, the Engelbert Humperdinck.
It sounds like a good
Play
idea.
me smooth jazz, dinner jazz. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Use that.
Shout out to you, Mom. Yeah, it's always dinner jazz. So that is a fact. As creepy as that might be, your Furby Connect, your, Ask Alexa, Ask Google, Ask whoever, absolutely they can be hacked. However, in essence, these tools are created to be secure, especially, baby monitors, are you kidding me? However, when they're not coupled with a good Wi-Fi password, you are creating a very easy access point to access those devices. So, a device alone, isn't enough to secure that device, to secure your home. So you want to couple that with a solid, complex, unique Wi-Fi password. That's a great place to start.
And so we've kind of talked a little bit, about business and everything. Now we've kind of
Right.
gone into the home.
Yeah, right. That
To
is
the
a home
same
question.
practices.
Yeah.
You don't want to get in trouble at work.
Right.
You really don't want to get in trouble
That's
at
right.
home.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, yep. The black tape on the Post-it note of your webcam is not enough anymore. And the things that we're, implement, like security cameras, they're there to keep us safe, not so somebody can watch us. So, yeah, if you're going to have them, implement and install them in the most secure way possible.
Don't make that convenience an inconvenience.
That's right.
I flipped that.
That's a
Did
good
you
one.
notice I
That
did
was
All right.
real good.
Okay, I'm at work, and I accidentally clicked on what I believe might be a malicious email.
Okay.
The first thing that I'm supposed to do is take a screenshot and send it to my IT team. I can't get any trouble with that
Sure. Okay.
at that point
That's-
because I've probably already gotten in trouble.
Right.
I clicked on it.
Okay, that's very specific, which at least tells me that this person has an incident response plan, which is good. If they know what to do, that's, all hail. That's amazing.
They have a plan in place.
They have a plan in place. However, since we're addressing, everybody, that's really kind of a twofer. So it's both fact and fiction. Certainly for this individual, if that truly is, in their incident response plan, if that's step 1, if you suspect a malicious email, do this. Absolutely, that's a fact. But company next door might have a completely different incident response plan, specific to their organization, the layout of the building, how their network is laid out. So it absolutely does depend on the organization themselves.
So know your
Keeping that in
plan
mind.
and do that.
That's right. And ultimately, having a plan is great, but that's really just that's the first step. The more important piece in that is your employees knowing that incident response plan exists and that they're actually going to do something about it.
Take
That's
action.
actually implemented. Yeah, take action, right? So what's the point in having that plan if people aren't going to use it?
My first response has always been call in a coworker, said, look at this, and then
Right.
yell really loud.
Right.
What have you done?
Right. There you go.
That's worked well for me in the
Yeah,
past.
just point the finger.
Exactly. I'm not taking the fall. You know that. All right. I'm out of the office, and my coworker needs my password. Let's make this even more controversial because I
Oh,
thought your last
okay.
response was going to
Sure.
be highly controversial,
Okay.
and you handled it so
I kept it
deftly.
diplomatic.
How about this? I'm out of the house,
Okay.
and my wife needs my password. Is it okay to share it with her? You've met my wife, and you know she cannot be trusted. And obviously, as she's my wife, has some judgment issues.
Sure. Oh man, that's more of an ethical question, Tim. I don't know if I can answer that one, but that's you and your wife decide who's sharing what passwords.
All right, we'll
Maybe-
go back to the office
Yeah,
then.
that's
My
a better plan.
coworker
Okay,
needs my
that I can
password.
handle. Okay, your coworker needs your and you're out of the office.
Is it okay to share it with them?
That was a rhetorical question, I guess, because it doesn't even matter if you're in the office, out of the office. Never share your password with anybody. So that is
What
fiction.
if it's your boss?
Still no, Tim.
Hold the line.
I know. I actually had a personal experience with this. It was my first job out of college, and my boss was out of the office, and they just had something to do, just urgently. And I was just, they were my boss, and I was, fresh out of college. I was just happy to have a job,
Sure.
And, this person just said, hey, I got to get this quote out to this person today. They really need it. And it's only on my computer. And so she was like, I'll give you my password, and so what did I do? Okay, I'll do it, and so I entered and logged in her computer. I know, rule breaker. Seriously, things have changed, Tim. I was in a different industry. It was a different life.
My,
right?
how you've grown.
That's right. If we learn from our mistakes, that's almost as good as not making them in the first place. So yeah, that's a perfect example. That even if it's your boss, it's super uncomfortable. However, just recognize that it doesn't matter if they're your best bud in the office and you happy hour. It doesn't matter. Your IT department should have a plan for that scenario. So just direct your coworker and say, hey, sorry, I can't help you out, but reach out to Rodney in IT, and they'll be able to take over control of your computer and do whatever you need to do, following company policy.
You want to help.
Right, absolutely.
The greatest way of helping might be not doing that.
That's right. Redirect. Yeah.
Nice.
Redirect.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. When connecting to public Wi-Fi at my favorite cafe, cyber criminals can potentially access my banking information, social security number, passwords, home address, and browsing history. Fact or fiction?
What is your favorite cafe, Tim?
I'm not allowed to
No,
drink
you don't.
coffee,
Oh,
and I think
okay.
you've seen, why.
I'm a tea person too, so okay.
But
yeah.
but I will admit, I have a hard time sitting at the airport and not plugging into the airport Wi-Fi.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's another great. Okay, so coffee shop being the question example, but yeah, airport is the same. Basically, any public Wi-Fi. So that is a fact. And it's not always the creepy guy in the hoodie, typing, frantically on his keyboard, with the Darth Vader sticker on his laptop. It can be a normal looking person that, you would never assume is trying to hack your information. So it's always a good idea. I guess I should preface this by saying Wi-Fi is part of our world.
It is.
It's the way it is. It's not going away, or certainly connecting is not going away. And so, regardless of where you are in public, if you do have to connect, just have a general sense of skepticism, healthy dose, and just, know that other people probably have access to everything that you're doing.
You're
now,
doing it at your own risk.
you're
It's
doing
sort of
it
like
at your
swimming
risk.
without a lifeguard.
That's right. Or a life jacket
But, yeah.
if you're iffy, like I am.
I am too.
Always with the jacket. I can't not. You feel me? So I will add to that too. I guess probably put a positive spin on this
Please.
instead of the doom and gloom. Would be certainly to implement a secure virtual private network. So if you can put a VPN, have that on your computer, ideally, set up to route back to your company, who hopefully has really good security in place. That is a great way. Connecting that VPN is a great way to, increase your security when you're out and about.
So it seems like as we've gone through these questions, one of the common themes that we keep coming back to is if you just do one more thing.
Yeah.
There always seems to be like a safe way,
Great.
generally
Oh, yeah.
speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think nothing, I wouldn't say anything is to throw your hands in the air and say, oh crap, we're all going to die. That's no help. It's no good, So instead, let's just put a positive on it and say, what can we do, as individuals and really make an impactful difference?
Don't be passive.
Right.
Take action.
Yeah.
All right. We have reached our last question.
This better not be
I
my
know,
favorite movie.
like
What's
Misha,
my
you're
favorite
hoping this
movie?
would go on forever, but nothing good lasts forever. It's not necessary to lock my computer when I get up to grab water or use the restroom. And I guess we could go back to work again too.
Oh, yeah.
Leave your work computer because you
Yep.
trust the people around you.
Right.
Is that good cyber hygiene?
That is not good cyber hygiene, Tim. So
You
that
said
is
fiction.
fiction. If you're out of your seat, computer should be locked. That's just how it should be all the time. It doesn't matter if you're going to the bathroom, you're just running to get your lunch. And the reason why, especially in smaller organizations, what seems to happen if you leave your computers unlocked and people, other people inevitably are going to see that, your coworkers and other people, around the office. And that really just instills a kind of negative vibe. It really takes the security down a notch, when you're saying, well, that person left their computer unlocked, I can too. Why would I need to do that? Again, it's that one extra little tiny baby step to take. So really, truly best practice, always lock your computer when you're getting up. And that goes for at home as well. Your kids can't be trusted.
No, there's something to be said for that. And
No.
I think about how many times, I would.
My cats certainly
just
cannot
get up
be
and go,
trusted.
and I never did.
Right,
I never did that.
Right. Yeah. No, it's especially, to the work environment, it's always a good practice to do that. And, small companies, like I mentioned, especially, they really feel like, oh, it's fine. I trust these guys, it's no big deal. But we spend a lot of time focusing on outside threats, social engineers trying to hack us and get in and penetrate our doors. But truly the majority of breaches are caused from the inside. So it's malicious activity, whether intentional or not intentional, a lot of times can be threats from the inside. So, don't walk around, with complete distrust of your coworkers, but, don't do that. And funny story, if you do leave your computer unlocked, at least in our organization, we do what we call Biebering. And so if you leave your computer unlocked, and I should say this never happens, but we're all human, and so Biebering.
As in Justin?
As in the Justin. So if you leave your computer unlocked, you are leaving the full opportunity. You might get the Burt Reynolds centerfold, you might get the Hoff, you might get Justin Bieber shirtless. And so it's all gloves are off if you leave your computer unlocked in our house.
You're going to get shamed to some extent.
You will be shamed, yeah.
Or some people might be saying, I would like that to
right.
happen. But it's not a good thing. It's not a
No.
good thing.
Whatever your worst wallpaper would be, just picture that. And
The
and
common
we do.
theme throughout this conversation really seems to be just a little bit extra in the form of that hygiene, security, or
Yeah.
good hygiene
right.
practices.
Yeah,
And we've been kind of lighthearted about this whole thing.
yeah, for sure.
But you just don't want to be that person on the other side of it, and to do this in
No.
advance.
No,
Experience is a great teacher, but that kind of negative experience, nobody wants that.
that's right. Yeah, for sure. And the best thing you can do is something, because doing nothing is certainly going to get you in trouble one of these days.
So if you were to say to the person out there watching right now, what's one thing you would want them to do as a result of having watched Ask the Cyber Pro,
Sure.
Fact or Fiction?
I would get training. Absolutely. I would train your employees on cybersecurity best practices. Doesn't have to be super deep, eyes glaze over cyber talk, but get awareness training for your employees. Top to bottom, what does every employee need to know to better their security within their company? And really get them to understand that every employee makes a difference and has the opportunity to do the right thing.
And then take that home. I go to the
Yeah.
extent to where I refer to my children
Oh, yeah.
as employees.
Yeah, there you go.
And they tell them your job is not secure.
That's right. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice job.
Thanks, Sam.
Did you have any fun?
So much fun. I know.
You'd come back and do this
I
again
didn't
sometime?
get to, I did throw in a Star Wars reference, so I'm happy. Yeah.
You
It
showed
was
the
the Darth
inner-
Vader sticker.
You, you let your inner nerd out,
I let my freak flag fly. Yeah,
as
I
it
did.
were.
As
Well,
it
we
were.
want to thank you for joining Ask the Cyber Pro. And we do this on a monthly basis with the idea of being to take you from paralyzed to empowered. And we hope we did that today. Misha Smith, you are lovely, and you were informative,
sir.
quite knowledgeable. And as a lovely parting gift, please feel free to take
Oh,
those with
wow.
you and
Okay.
apply those to your everyday life.
I will hang them in my office.
People ask you questions, and you'll be like,
Yeah. I'll
fiction.
just be mute and I'll just with this or this. That's it for a week. That's my plan.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That was
Tim.
fun.
Of
Thank
course.
you for joining us. Have any questions, you know
Thanks,
where to find
everybody.
the pros at Beryllium and Innopro IQ. Take care, everybody.